Hud hat. This rocket is way too big. We're going to Minmus. It needs to be bigger. We gotta stick to a budget. We're gonna run out of funds like this. Nah, it'll be fine. We'll make it back with this mission. And what were you thinking with these boosters? They're bigger than the rest of the rocket. I know! They're awesome! Blast off!
Welcome back, guys, to Space Patrol, episode number 4, the continuing exploits and adventures of our heroes, Hud Hat Kerbin and Buzz Kerbin. Today, we're headed for Minmus, the second moon of our system. And as an aside, last episode I was talking about the different pronunciations of mun or moon, and someone pointed out that on the loading screen, sometimes you'll get that crashed lander, and then it has M-U-N with an umlaut above the U, which would seem to indicate that the pronunciation should be moon. Alright, fine, whatever. Let's just move past it. Let's say it's the moon. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so we are in orbit once again. I've got this strange crab-like lander here, which used to have a different configuration. I'll go over that in just a bit. We are headed for Minmus. We have a contract, hopefully. This 90,000 fund rocket we will pay back and then some by going out there and doing some science. This is actually pretty good, this distance. We have a descending node of 5.8 degrees, but I think this is just about the right angle if we start burning here. I think that's almost right. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's burn right on the descending node. Bring this up. Expand. So I was doing some experimenting with some of the new parts. I've been wanting to use Infernal Robotics for quite a while. And let's go ahead and change that angle. So I'm going to have to bring this way down. I wanted to use Infernal Robotics. It lets you do things like spin things and bend things. Gives you lots of hinges. Lots of cool stuff to play around with. And turns out it takes a lot of electric charge to do that. And so I had to take them off of this ship, because I don't have solar panels, I don't have big enough batteries to be able to deal with that. Okay, there's a Minmus periapsis, but it's quite high. Minmus periapsis, 714,000 meters. Whoops, too far. Let's try and get lower. Periapsis, 1.8. Periapsis, 800,000. I'll tell you what, let's get into Minmus periapsis, 127,000 meters. That's pretty good. All right, let's go with that. This looks like we're going to go into a crazy orbit, but it doesn't matter, actually, if that ends up happening. So you can see right here, I've got these kind of legs coming down. Looks a little bit awkward. Original idea was to have them fold up, so this thing would kind of unfold like a crab or a spider. Once we got to the place to land, and then this thing, this 1.25 to 2.5 meter adapter, this is actually a fuel tank with KW Rocketry. So this guy and this guy have fuel in them, and originally the legs were supposed to like curl up around that egg-looking shell or whatever. And these command pods, they were sort of lodged into the side, and I had a probe core there so that I could still steer the thing, because if you put a command pod on at a funny angle, it's gonna distort your perspective. Anyway, I had to do some redesigning. It's not really that important. We'll get into some weirder builds and some cooler stuff later as I unlock some solar panels. Next episode, I'm thinking of taking a probe and sending it to a different planet. I haven't really used probes much in the past, so it's an interesting idea to me, and I think it's appropriate. Let's see, we want to be going around 37 seconds. I want to start burning. And here we go. I've never really used probes, But it'll allow us to get funds and science. We'll complete a contract. Maybe I'll send one to Ike. That sounds like a good idea. And then we can get a little farther down the tech tree. Wow! The farther we get down the tech tree, the easier it's going to be to go places. We're going to get better parts. You can see I'm using a new engine here that we got last time. That is the Maverick 1D. And then we've got some of these new adapter parts. I've got a reaction wheel here in the middle to help steer it when it's still kind of big. Okay, we're getting there. I've got Science Juniors, so we should be able to get some extra science this time. I also have a contract to get science, return science from around Kerbin. So I want to do a crew report really quickly. Aha, 1.5 meters. That's good. Okay, let's see. Apoaps, I don't think I can trust that information from here. Let's kill that. And we went, the periaps 84,000. That's even better. Turn off SAS. I want to do a crew report here. We have a contract for science data from space around Kerbin. And that's like 30,000 credits for that silly stuff. So let's go ahead and do a crew report. Oh, I've already done that. It probably has to be something you haven't already done, huh? I probably can't get it for E.V.E. either. Okay, reset this. Maybe I'll do a mystery goo. Have we done those already? I think we have. We'll get 0.5 science. All right, reset that. Maybe Science Junior. We definitely have not done those. 25. The microgravity has greatly affected the growth of crystalline structures. Loose objects are also flying around the bay in a very messy but fascinating way. Okay, we'll keep that one. So, fast forward, off to Minmus. Well, here we come in for the landing on Minmus, the second moon of Kerbin, the first moon being Moon, the second moon not being Moon. I prefer landing here to landing on the moon because the gravity is so much lighter. It's much easier, and you can hop around. It's a lot easier to get science and explore the place, and I think it's just prettier in general. The moon is kind of like a scarred mess, and this is like a resort vacation location. Resort, vocation, location, relocation, translocation, teleportation, all sorts of words that end with Asian. Coming down, 14 meters per second. Okay, and this time I'm going to bleed off the speed instead of hitting X to shut it off entirely. Just a little bit of speed, a little bit. This is actually fine. As long as I'm under 4 meters per second. Feather it. Feather it. And we're down. Flawless execution. Kind of looks like a Christmas tree a little bit now that I look at it. SAS off, quick save on. Let's do some science. I didn't do science around the orbit. I guess we'll do that on the way out. Once again, science is more valuable on the surface than out around the moon or whatever you're on, unless it's Kerbin. 50 science, you observe the goo. Minmus's Great Flats. Minmus has a bunch of different biomes. We're not going to get even half of them today. If we get a few, that'll be good. Oh, I did put thermometers. Okay, good. I almost forgot about that. But apparently when I designed this rocket, I did not forget about it. Material study. While the material sample were processed, you began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint desert. Now I'm hungry. 125. Excellent. Keep it. Thermometer. Log temperature. Collected and recorded. 40 more science. Very nice. When we'll take the science out of each of those before we use these decouplers to shed them like a cicada emerging from its shell. Okay, so that's it for this location. Let's get the guys out and have them dance around and whatnot. Let go. Fly around, Buzz. Do a flyby. Whee! Okay, he loves it. But don't crash into the ground. Don't. Oh, that was close. Good job. Maybe come back here. Let's have a family portrait with the lander and the Buzz. Also head hat, also flag, also crew, EVA report, also surface sample. EVA report. Feeling like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Great flats. 40 science. Collectified. Surface sample. 150. You sneak a taste of the surface. Definitely is not made of delicious desert produce. Products. And plant flag. So this was the Great Flats. There we go. Flag. Okay, Minmus. Great Flats. And I'm going to try to... I'll probably forget to do this at some point and then abandon it completely. But at least for the first few flags, I will say exactly what we did here. EVA, surface sample. Then we did strange goo. And we did thermometer. And science junior. Okay, right? Is that everything? I think so. That's a lot. We'll get a few more. We'll get several more ways to get science later. Eventually, I may just come with a ship and a science lab so we can reset everything and do one of everything at every location just to make sure. In fact, that's probably a better idea in the long term, so maybe I'll stop doing that. I knew I could come up with a good excuse not to do that anymore if I really thought hard about it. Okay, HUD hat. Out of the ship. And you're going to fly around a bit. Okay, you're... Oh, gosh, you're stuck. I can't... There we go. There we go. Okay, come on. Land on down here. Stand next to your compatriot, your compadre, your companion, your crew member, your fellow officer in the Space Patrol. Line up them shadows. Bam! Okay, then we could, you know what we could do? We could get a nice screenshot if I bring out the camera tools. So I'm going to set the target as the ground, just somewhere like that. I'm going to hit the home key. Home key. Oh, it didn't get set. Now it's set. What happened here? Is there some lag? There we go. Ooh. Oh, you know what I did? All right, I'm dumb. Let me clear target. I set the target as the ground and the position as the ground, so it wants to look at itself all the time. There we go. Okay. So now I can move it around. The scroll wheel goes up and down. Holding down the right mouse button rotates. And then clicking and holding the scroll wheel, the middle mouse button, you can go forward, back, left, and right like this. Turn off the UI like that. And we can hopefully get some nice screenshots. Kind of like that. Kind of like that. Bam! There we go. There's the whole family. Okay, so who am I targeting now? I'm controlling HUD hat, and then we can do something like this. Okay, so let's... Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to have him fly towards the camera. And then I'm going to spin him around. Ah! Okay, there he goes. And there he goes back again. Hey, HUD hat, what's it going? How's it going, man? It's going great. It's going so great. That was not in HUD hat's voice, because I can't switch to the program to turn on his cartoon voice while I'm actively recording. Bam! Oh, you nailed it. Okay, F2, turn the UI back on. End key resets the camera. And then on your number pad, the / closes the UI. So we have a more or less not too cluttered surface here. All right, so next thing to do. He doesn't need to get an EVA. I guess he could. They're just going to be duplicate. Let me look. Yeah, we get the full bar just with one EVA. So there's no point. The surface sample we can take 2 of, though, because we've got this little bit of green bar left. So that's actually... It looks like you'll get the full amount of science if you send a probe somewhere. Oh no, you can't get a surface sample with a probe, can you? But if you came here and transmitted and then brought back a surface sample, personally, looks like you would get the full bar. But we'll just do this way. Each of them will get a surface sample at each biome, and so we'll get the full science. All right, let's get them back in the ship. We do have a decent amount of fuel. We should be able to hit up... I'm going to say 4 biomes. We've got 4 of these little pods on the side. You're inside. Okay, buddy. In you go. And we're going to get a ton of science this way. And next time we'll try to send an inexpensive ship with our new parts to Ike. Hopefully, so we can have a lot of money and a lot of science at the same time. Get in. There we go. Okay, here we come down for landing number 2 on Minmus. It's so easy to hop around on this place, although my lander is rather top heavy, so hopefully landing like this should be easier. The bottom legs were a little bit more spread out when I was using the Infernal Robotics stuff, but that ended up taking way too much electrical charge. I ended up with an empty battery most of the time, and then I couldn't do anything. Couldn't even use SAS. Bam! Okay, this should be... No, back here. I do not have a reaction wheel or RCS, so landing like this on a hill, like, for instance, if I landed up there, that could be kind of tricky. Landing down here, this is a pretty good spot, actually. It's fairly flat. SAS off. Let's check the biome. Mystery Goo. Minmus Lowlands. Okay, I missed the slopes. That's okay. Minmus Lowlands. Keep data. And we'll do the Science Junior. Material sample. You began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert. Okay, we've seen that before. But that's an extra 125, and then we can take the temperature. We recorded the temperature. That's awesome. Alright, so let's repeat all the stuff we did last time. Plant the flag, get the surface samples, and we'll head off for biome number 3. Well, we're about to come in for our landing number 3. I want to kill all of our orbital momentum. I want to come in straight down as possible, and it looks like we're about to lose this fuel tank, which will make our center of gravity a bit lower, which will make it easier to land, which will be nice. Okay, here we come. About to run out of fuel. There that guy goes. And he's gonna crash into the ground. It's gonna explode. It should be kind of awesome, I hope. And then we can follow him down. He can be our shadow. We can use him to let us know when we're about to hit the ground. Or we could just use our own shadow if I could find it, which I can't. This should be a different biome. Okay, let's slow down here. Blam! There it goes. Okay, that was good. Slow down a good amount. Mostly coming down straight. Slow down more. Oh, okay. Oh, boy. Okay, just skip along. We're very light at this point. Our center of gravity is a little bit lower. This engine is a less powerful... Let me turn off SAS because we're going to tip up like that. SAS says, hey, you want to be at this angle? I'll keep you at this angle. This is the Vestra VR1. It has a good amount of efficiency. And this tank is totally full. Seriously, guy? Quit exploding. Let me do a quick save. Just in case the game crashes on me yet again. Alright, is this side? This side's totally done. Or not used. Mystery Goo. Mr. Magoo, Mystery Goo. Observation Lowlands. We observe the goo. Okay. Science Junior. Okay, coming in for biome number 4. That last place we just landed in on the video was actually still a biome we had already been in. So I had to land over there. That's the flats. I forgot to record that. Oops. Now we're coming down for what should hopefully be biome number 4. Here we go. Bloom. Nailed it. Almost. Almost. Come on, guys. No, no, no. No, no. Tip back down. Turn the SAS off. That should help. Come on. Gravity being low sometimes can be your enemy as much as your friend when things like this happen. Okay, but we should be down. Let's see what the biome is. Observe Mystery Goo. Mystery Goo. Midlands. Okay, good. That should be new. And we can also... This thermometer should be unused. Log temperature. The Midlands. Good. Okay, so that should be 4 biomes now. Let's check, though. We can review the stored data. We did the flats, the slopes, the Great Flats. Oh, that first one. Let's start over. Let me do that again. Review stored data. E.V.E. report from Minmus's flats. Just above Minmus' slopes. Okay, this one doesn't count. This was while we were in orbit I did this. Okay, so flats, great flats, lowlands, and now midlands. Great. Okay, so that is 4. We can hop out and do the surface sample dance. And also, I'm going to collect all the science from these guys. Before we take off, we also need to get some EVA reports from over Minmus and high over Minmus on our way out, which I shall do. And then we can head back from Kerbin, and we should have a lot of science. We should be able to do some cool stuff with it, and hopefully enough money to buy some cool new parts. EVA report, buddy. Okay, we feel like a superhero. Surface sample. Okay, same text. And the 4th flag. The data has been collected. It is time to fire for home. Hut Hat and Buzz, are you ready? Ready or not, here we come. Burning for 90 degrees. Landing legs back up, because we're not landing again. I've collected all the science out of all the modules. Now we just have to fire basically towards the 90-degree marker, straight east, and that should take us straight home, because we're also going to be firing straight towards Kerbin and lowering our apoapsis, our periapsis, in our orbit around Kerbin itself. We're going to escape from Minmus. Okay, we should be high enough now. Let's look at this. Apoapsis height, 10,000 meters. That's good enough. Okay, and just to make sure, let's see, did I do a crew report? In space near Minmus. Keep that. And let's do an EVA, so I can do an EVA report from here. Just above the Midlands, okay. I'm not sure if I have that one yet or not. Okay, let's go ahead and continue escaping. We're not exactly firing towards Kerbin. We're kind of firing sort of in that direction, but it's close enough. With this amount of fuel, it doesn't really matter. You know, this amount efficiency, let's see. Periapsis is all the way there. Let's wait. Okay, we are escaping. But we actually need to shoot this way. So let's fast forward. I need to get the science for high over, the high over category. I don't know exactly where that starts. This is probably good though. So let's check. Crew reports. Okay, don't overwrite that crew report. Crew reports. In space, high over Minmus. Reminds you of a favorite child. Okay, yeah, the same text. And let's have Buzz get the EVA this time. EVA report. 32 science, high over Minmus. Get back in, buddy. Alright, so our contracts. We still have to do... we have to bring the science back. We have to plant the flag on the Mun. We'll do that some other time. We have to transmit or recover scientific data from space around Kerbin. We have that in one of these pods. We did the Science Juniors. Okay, so now we're looking at this guy. There's Kerbin there. To bring down our periapsis, we want to face this away, towards that blue circle right there. That should bring down our overall periapsis. Let's watch. See how that works. It's magic. And I do have plenty of fuel, so there's a lot of room for error here. Coming down, and our apoapsis is way out there. But whatever, I have a lot of fuel, so we can do it this way. Not the most efficient way to do it. I kind of screwed up the initial burn, but this will work. We're going to come in on a polar insertion, which could be cool. Awesome. Okay, and I'll do a correction once we get into orbit. Escape from Minmus. But that should be... the rest should be all fairly routine. And I'll see you back on Kerbin for the landing. Alright, here we come, close to the landing, 1,700 meters in closing, and I decided not to jettison these guys. I've got 4 parachutes and a good amount of fuel left, so let's go ahead and try to preserve as much of the craft as we can and get some fundage back. That's going to drop us all the way to 6.8. Now we're just going to drift down here, and I will fire the engines. when we get down to like 15, 20 meters, something like that, see if we can keep some of this stuff from exploding. Yep, totally nailed it. Totally nailed it. It worked fine. I kept the engines on too long. We lifted back off, and then we lost the Science Juniors, and we might be able to recover these. Anyway, let's see what we got. We brought back 1,800 extra science. We have a total of 1,915 science now. That is a huge leap forward. But don't forget, we are using the Interstellar tech tree, which means we are going to need a huge, vast amount of science in the long term. All of these experiments, look at all this. Materials study, mystery goo, materials study, E.V.E. report, surface sample. All of them add up to quite a lot. We got 366,000 funds. Look at that. We left with, before we launched the rocket, we had 180, spent 90 on the rocket, and we got a lot in return. I would consider that a success. And how much are we getting back for these things? For the rocket, 470 funds. 590 for this other rocket. That's good. Okay, that's the kind of stuff adds up. Landing struts, 1,000. 1,200 for the decouplers. Okay, that's actually pretty good. I'm happy with that as well. 6,000 total from recovered parts. And the crew, total reputation 800. Let's see if there's any other debris. Crash down debris. Splash down. Okay, we can recover some of these and probably get some stuff, a little bit extra funds from this debris. That is, yeah, we can't get that back. This one is splash down, recover. This one is splash down, recover. We'll try to keep our system as clean as possible in the long run. The first several, like dozen missions or so, might be a bit messy. Orbiting. On escape trajectory. Well, good. See you later, sucker. Alright, so that's good. Got a lot of that. Let's take a look at the contracts that we have available. Explore Duna. Explore Eve. Explore Ike. I think next time we're going to send a probe to Ike. That sounds like a fun idea. So let's do that. It'll give me an opportunity and an excuse to use some fairings for our probe. And I'm going to need to get some solar panels. Okay. We'll take that. Do I want any of these test this part? Orbiting Minmus. Ooh, that's a lot of funds. Maybe in the future we'll do some of those if we need some extra cash. But I think that's probably good. We'll do Ike next. Alright, now I'm going to look at the tech tree and buy the stuff and then give you a summary of what I did instead of rambling about it for 20 minutes. Okay, so briefly, let's go over all the things we just purchased. I'm down to 321,000 funds. Having it set like this so that after you research a branch of a tech tree, you have to purchase each part individually. I really like that, and it does use up a lot of money. I'm being very selective in which parts I buy. For instance, I did advanced rocketry, or no, heavy rocketry, but I didn't buy anything in it yet. I will probably buy some of these things when I'm actually constructing a rocket in the vehicle assembly building and I find that I need something. I did heavier rocketry. Got a nose cone, a new rocket, the Maverick 5, max thrust of 1,400, and then the Vestra, max thrust 600. The less powerful one's more efficient, as usual. An external fuel tank, another fuel tank. Let's see, I already had this one with the fuel lines. I got this because I wanted some different command pod options. So we've got the Mark 1-2, which holds 3 crew. So they can share a command pod from now on. Or we can go with the old favorite Mark 1 lander can. I really like this lander can, the command pod. I kind of wish KW Rocketry gave some command pods. It has all the rocket stuff. Not really much in the way of command pods. Did this one last time. Okay, I picked up some spaceplane parts. I have not bought any yet. And I bought these as well, or I researched supersonic flight, but I have not purchased anything here. And we're going to have a lot of fairings options, which we'll experiment with fairings in the next video. Could be fun. Let's see. Also, this guy, I got a new probe core since we're sending a probe to Ike. Thought that was appropriate to go for probe stuff. And then the tiny little rocket stuff for the probes. Tiny little decoupler. 2 more probe cores. Doboidine. That's too many syllables. I can't pronounce that word. HECS and OKTO2. Got those guys. What else did we get? Let's see. I got a solar panel and a few lights. And then I got a battery and a different solar panel. And I think that's it. Oh, I got the tiny little micro landing strut for the probe. So we're on the edge of some cool modded stuff. This is not modded, but we can use a ion engine in the future. We've got some electric generators, which we will use to power things remotely from around the system. That's going to be cool in the future. We're going to set up satellites that are all going to be linked together and beaming power around. Some plasma thrusters. Looks cool. Let's see. What was the one? I almost researched this to get the accelerometer. And it's got, look at this, a gamma ray spectrometer, a dual technique magnetometer, and an IR telescope. I don't know what any of those do. I assume they're for science. And then we've got a deuterium cryostat of various size, helium cryostat. We're going to get into the modded stuff. It's going to start being kind of crazy. Next time, we're going to Ike. Hope you guys are enjoying this series. As always, leave your comments below, and we'll see you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.